Back in the 30s and 40s, probably the most popular writer was a man named Clarence Budington Kelland. How many of you out there know? Okay, well, I see your hand, and the rest of you are all looking perplexed. Clarence Budington Kelland did books. Movies were based on his stories. There wasn't practically an issue of the Saturday Evening Post or Collier's at the time that didn't have a story by Clarence Budington Kelland in it. Today, you can't find a book by Clarence Budington Kelland in a library. If I were to go out in the street and ask 200 people, not one of them would remember the name Clarence Budington Kelland. So here am I, a writer, 61 years old. I've been writing for 40 years. I've won a lot of awards. You know, I'm on television, and I come and shoot off my mouth for you, you know, on this show. And I wonder, will anybody remember that I was here? 10 minutes after I'm down the hole, is anybody going to still be reading? Well, we live in a time in which cultural illiteracy is at its peak. And people aren't reading anymore. They're watching this tube. They're doing some movies. They're spending endless hours playing video games and getting their brains fried by what they call the infobahn, which is one of the great hypes of the world. There's no such thing there. And books. Books are being read, but, you know, they're paying six figures to Faye Resnick to talk about her relationship to Nicole Simpson. And it brings a writer to wonder, is there really any future? Is there any point to it? I don't know the answer. All I can do is give you anecdotes. I'll give you a real interesting anecdote. I got a publisher who's bringing out 31 of my books next year, early next year. And I'm having dinner with them in Chicago. I was at the American Bookseller Association convention. And we went out to have dinner. And in the middle of the dinner, I'm talking about a cover idea that I had for my comic book, Harlan Ellison's Dream Corridor. And I said, this is great idea. You got a guy who's climbing Mount Everest, or, you know, climbing back towards Shangri-La, and the wind is whipping the snow in a curtain off to the left, and it's like Ronald Coleman climbing back to Shangri-La, and as he looks toward the summit, he sees McDonald's arches. Now, I thought that was very funny, and in fact, here's a Xerox of the cover that Kent Bash actually did. But I suddenly realized, as I was talking to them, they were looking at me as if I'd fallen off the moon. I said, Ronald Coleman. You know, Lost Horizon, the movie, black and white movie, hello, Ellison to Earth. They didn't know. They didn't know anything about Lost Horizon. They didn't know Ronald Coleman. They didn't know Shangri-La. It's impossible, almost impossible, to write anything that an audience today knows anything about if the audience is under 20. They just don't give a damn. They don't know and they don't care. And it turns into a kind of situation where even the most famous stuff becomes no price. Let me show you something really ugly. Publishers Weekly. This is the journal of the book publishing world. Comes out every week. This one is June 5th. See that cover? It says, Lassie Come Home. Lassie Come Home, the book, Lassie Come Home. And underneath it are these two names, Rosemary Wells and Susan Jeffers. And I look at this and I say, the hell is that? The book was written by Eric Knight, who wrote The Flying Yorkshireman. Eric Knight, very famous. This is one of the most famous books in the world. It was written in 1938, something like that. 1938. Well, what they've done is they're not reprinting Lassie Come Home. They're doing a picture book. A picture book. They took Eric Hatch's work and they have to boil it down and make it idiot for a new audience. Clarence Budington Kelland, for all his fame, is gone. As if he never existed, flins from the mind of the reading public. They don't even remember Chaucer. We're lucky if they remember Mark Twain. If Clarence Budington Kelland couldn't make it, how the hell am I going to make it?